Thanks for joining Veiled Mystic today as we examine the demon Andrealphus. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy this presentation. Andrealphus, proficient in science, math and astronomy. In the intricate hierarchy of devilish lieutenants serving Satan's infernal kingdom, one lieutenant in particular has grown infamous for profoundly influencing great minds through the ages. When conjured from the abyss, this adept demon assumes a human guise and willingly imparts brilliance in multiple intellectual disciplines under his command. But such profane tutelage comes at immeasurable cost to the soul for those desperate enough to court this master of worldly wisdom. Meet Andrealphus, a demon count renowned in occult texts for steering history's geniuses down radical paths aligned with Satan's subversive plans for humanity. Numerous variations on his name exist across grimoires from the 13th century onwards, including Andrealphus, Andrealphus and Andrealphus. But all reference the same devious entity whose very essence blurs lines between divine inspiration versus dangerous obsession. Origins of Andrealphus lore. The curious legend of Andrealphus traces back to a contentious transitional era when sciences and occultism first locked horns for authority over world use. During Europe's early Renaissance in the 1300s, revered philosopher Thomas Aquinas had only recently attempted reconciling Christianity with the radical empiricism of Aristotle and other Greek titans from antiquity. In this climate of clashing dogmas, one influential text arose focused wholly on sorcery and rejecting church constraints over freethinkers. The sworn Book of Honorius, dated to the early 14th century, drew upon older works like the Picatrix, filled with complex formulas for conjuring beings through intricate magical techniques. In doing so, it offered alternative paths to knowledge apart from God for summoners versed in the profane arts. It is here within Honorius' banned angelology grimoire that the studious demon Andrealphus first debuted under a header describing 64 sub-king demons and their legions of servants. Listed as the 60th spirit and great marquis of hell, he appeared through a complex ritual, ultimately bringing the magician face to face with Lucifer himself. When duly evoked, this mysterious demon would disclose all arts and sciences unto any according to the first known reference. Later versions of Andrealphus appear in the 15th century Psi Demonica Demonum, which hierarchy has him ruling over 30 infernal legions as mighty great earl. Moving into the Protestant Reformation period, he also featured in the 16th century Lesser Key of Solomon within the Ars Goetia listing 72 hellish demons. By this time, Andrealphus had evolved in popular lore to embody astronomy, geometry and other intellectual pursuits as we know them today. In essence, his assistance could rapidly accelerate any gifted student from mere novice to savant well beyond ordinary human capacity through a Faustian devil's bargain. Physical appearance and attributes. Across occultist writings, accounts depict Andrealphus in highly stately human form upon manifesting before conjurers in their ritual spaces. Tall with authoritative features, his guise exudes aristocratic refinement and acute mental sharpness. Well-kept hair typically presents in silver grey or stark white, befitting his age-sage appearance belying an ancient infernal lineage. Garbed in robes of regal colours, frequently including scarlet trim, golden accents and jewel embellishments, he radiates worldly prestige and power upon first impression. Clean-shaven, piercing eyes and a prominently creased brow further convey intense focus and grim severity. He brandishes a menacingly long spear as his weapon while riding a pale horse or towering moose-like steed as his transport out of the abyss. Once pleasantries and protocol conclude, Andrealphus speaks eloquently with superhuman command over virtually any subject matter within the arts, math or sciences. His first dictates educate the pupil on how properly engaging him so as not to test short patience when relaying invaluable knowledge through their ongoing instructive pact. The subtle pride and ambition lurking behind affable manners reveal cunning ulterior motives orchestrating the unwitting initiate's corruption. Yet the radiant splendor around this distinguished demon obscures the rotting core, which fills victims with insatiable addiction to forbidden truths. Once their reason blinds to what is morally bankrupt and spiritually hollow, the devilish victory silently unfolds. Bestowing genius through occult means. While a student's innate talent and potential cannot be understated, widespread stories exist crediting Andrealphus for catapulting top intellectual luminaries to ascended heights bordering on the miraculous. Familiar names spanning disciplines and eras digit scholarship in mathematics, physics, astronomy, medicine, music, literature and architecture have reputedly appeared among the demon count's earthly protégés. By shrouding tutorial exchanges in secrecy, the cunning entity's involvement with great human achievements remains impossible to prove conclusively. But first-hand accounts from those who escape the corrupted orbit around Andrealphus indicate egregor magic and thoughtform energy empowering their output through unholy means. In the throes of a possessive mentorship that increasingly isolated them from outside input, subjects describe initially experiencing boundless inspired flights of design, formulae and problem-solving almost independent of one's conscious faculties. Yet a common theme soon emerged in their recollections of this automated scholarly output occurring alongside waves of hyper-realistic nightmares, intrusive voices and involuntary automatic writing flooding the creative process. Over time, the parasitic exchange leads to chronic physical afflictions, deepening paranoia, estranged personal relationships, suicidal thoughts and utter existential dread centered around perceived threats to the work above all else. The crushing weight and relentlessness of such moon madness ironically stems from Andrealphus magnifying human potential beyond healthy limits. Gifted minds simply cannot handle the sheer unearthly scope of knowledge forced upon them. Occult historians have also described a sinister phantom rival psychological tactic the demon uses against already unstable geniuses. Over months or years, he carefully builds irrational resentment and jealousy within them regarding fellow colleagues, making similar strides. The manufactured delusions escalate to convictions of stolen credit or priority over key theories and discoveries to the point of public confrontations, diminished credibility and institutional censure of the rival. This insidious operation, repeated frequently across decades, fueled by Andrealphus subtly tormenting both camps simultaneously, has generated some of history's most hostile and counterproductive feuds between titans who may have otherwise positively reinforced each other's brilliance to a greater good. Accessing the abyssal tutor. Practitioners well versed in grimoire sorcery warn that summoning demons like Andrealphus always carries immense risk despite promised windfalls of intellect, wealth or influence in mortal spheres. Without pure intent, strong virtue and formidable willpower, the magician loses control over entities whose deviousness eclipses human cunning 1,000-fold. But for the weak-minded or corruptibly ambitious, the temptation remains to enlist the pitiless expertise of an infernal sensei unbound by earthly constraints. Manuals from Honorius the Sworn Book onward lay out elaborate precautions a conjurer must take when communing with or seeking assistance from denizens of the underworld. Alongside exacting instructions for sanctifying the ritual space are directives on preparing protective amulets, casting consecrating circles, banning disruptive spirits and reciting lengthy incantations in Latin, Hebrew and Aramaic. Violating these sacred protocols or lacking mental clarity even briefly risks the demon gaining an upper hand with further liberty to dominate and ultimately destroy its human host. Upon completion, the authorized summoner may present complex mathematical proofs, architectural plans or star-charting anomalies to the manifested demon within the inscribed space. In a clinical exchange absent emotive distractions, Andrealphus and his hellish expertise expands understanding on the topic through superhuman lens no earthbound limitations can ever replicate. But venturing repeated contact, or leaning too heavily on the forbidden wisdom risks the obsession turning parasitic at cost of one's grasp on their humanity. Without constant vigilance against intellectual hubris that borders on godlike delusions of grandeur, the sorcerer exaggerates their natural gifts into the realm of sacrilege. Through this Faustian process of inflating creativity through unholy means arises the Golden Era breakthroughs credited partially to Andrealphus and other knowledge-bearing denizens of the pit whispering in the ears of struggling mortals. Yet for every legacy burnished by the demon's touch, far more broken vessels lay condemned to hospitals, suicides and shallow graves under the crushing weight of genius grown monstrous. Escaping the infernal pact. Sparse first-hand accounts reveal that fleeing Andrealphus' sphere of influence grows increasingly difficult over time, both physically and psychologically. Subjects describe an acute mood destabilization phase marked by violent thoughts, fits of shrieking laughter and speaking in strange dialects or mathematical proofs aloud. Physically, the body rebels with relentless tremors, obsessive list-making and inability to sleep lasting days on end. Each affliction suggests the human vessel struggles, containing Andrealphus' immense infernal energy. Still determined scholars intent on cutting ties completely have discovered banishing solutions that show promise despite the hellish withdrawal. Foremost is acknowledging that one bears responsibility for unleashing a wicked spirit through free will and must take equal initiative ending the union on their own terms. With humility, prayer and renewed moral clarity comes necessary strength rebuking the demons, continued hold over mind or health. Implementing thought disruption techniques like trance-drumming, speaking holy names or scripture aloud purges residual mental connections still echoing. Allowing long-suppressed caring human relationships back into one's daily routine also catalyzes reclaiming passion and inspiration absent diabolical influence. Once the afflicted feels anchors of love and community bonding their spirit again to more grounded ambitions, the feverish obsessions cultivated under Andrealphus' infection finally recede into living memory. But complete rehabilitation may require structured guidance to prevent relapse into strange equations, automatic writing episodes, or other lingering after effects. Through righteous perseverance and acceptance of help from angelic forces comes hope, escaping even the most powerful demons determined to hijack souls through Faustian bargains. By renouncing benefits reaped from unholy vendettas, ruinous rivalries and obsessive feats advanced through Andrealphus' unnatural surge of netherworldly genius, the recovering sorcerer reclaims future days filled with humility, clarity and lasting human achievement carried out through divinely inspired work alone.